When we talk about finding our purpose, and we talk about finding our calling, finding out who we're called to be, what we're called to do, it's not that we lack potential to do so. Like, we have all the potential in the world. Everybody does. Me, you watching this video right now, we all have potential. So men out here, we don't lack potential. We lack direction. Direction when it comes to finding our purpose and fulfilling that purpose. Direction when it comes to finding our calling and living up to that calling. Everybody has potential, but it's about how do we reach that potential? How do we max out that potential? Like, you weren't made to drift away from the purpose. You weren't made to drift away from your calling. You were made to fulfill that purpose, to fulfill that calling. And if you're at a point in your life where you're confused about your purpose and you don't know what that purpose is, you don't know what that calling is, what I'm about to tell you and what I'm about to say might change how you look at it, how you look at finding that purpose, how you look at finding your calling. Because if I'm being honest, bro, you don't find what you're made for. Like, it's nothing that will just pop out of thin air. It's nothing that will just come. It's nothing that you can just find, but it's something that you grow into. It's something that you grow into by trials and tribulations, by moving, by serving, by building, by testing out different things, testing out different plans, and simply by becoming the best version of you. You don't discover your purpose by sitting and thinking. You don't discover your purpose by waiting on a perfect time or waiting on a perfect moment. You discover your purpose, you discover your calling by taking action, by moving, by taking the right steps, by taking the first step, by taking risks. Like, your purpose is revealed through action, not overthinking, not clarity, not the right moment, not the right time, not perfect timing, through action. Like, in order to find our purpose, in order to find out what we were called here to do, why we were here, what purpose there is that we're trying to fulfill, we got to stop waiting for clarity. A lot of guys out here, bro, we think that we'll start when I know exactly what I'm meant to do. I'll start when I know exactly the plan, what step I got to take each and every part of the way. But you don't gain that clarity until you move. You don't gain that clarity until you take action. Like, clarity is something that you gain along the way. It's something that you gain during the journey, during the process. It doesn't just come at the beginning. Think about it in these examples. Like, you don't discover strength. You don't build strength without lifting, without going to the gym. You don't develop leadership skills without leading. You don't discover your calling without trying different things, without taking action. Like, purpose reveals itself when you're in motion, when you take action, when you take the right steps, when you take the first step, when you take risk. Like I said earlier, like, that's how purpose comes about. That's how it reveals itself. Purpose is just not going to come out of thin air. It's not magic. It's not. You can't sit there and think about what my purpose is without taking the actions needed to discover your purpose, to reveal your purpose. Like, that clarity that you want comes from movement. It comes from you trying different things. It comes from you taking action. It comes from you paying attention to the patterns. When you do take the first step, when you do move, you got to ask yourself, what is it that people naturally come to you for? You can find a pattern in that. You got to ask yourself, what problems do I care about? What problems do you care about? That's a question you got to ask yourself in order to pay attention to the patterns that could reveal your purpose. You got to ask yourself, what kind of struggles might have shaped you? These three questions are key to finding out what your calling is, and are key to finding out what your purpose is. Because oftentimes, bro, what hurt you, what you might have suffered from, what you might have went through becomes what you were called to help others through. It becomes what you were called to help others grow from, help others learn from. It's often what your purpose is. An example of this is if you struggle with discipline coming up, if you struggle with discipline in everything that you do, and you master discipline now you can probably go speak about discipline. Now you can go talk to others about discipline. Now you can go help others master their own discipline. If you struggle with insecurities and you've grown from that, you've learned from that, and now you no longer struggle with it, now you can go out and teach confidence. Now you can go out and teach how to not be insecure. Like, there's beauty in the pain that you might go through. There's beauty in the struggles that you might go through once you grow from them and once you learn from them. You don't struggle with those things anymore. And that could be your purpose. That could be what you were called to do. Like, you find patterns in these things, and once you find these patterns, you got to pay attention to them, because that pain often points to your purpose. Like I told y'all before, there's many things that I've went through. There's things that I go through daily, and I get on camera and speak about them because I feel like that's what I'm called to do. I feel like that's my purpose. But you can't develop a career, you can't develop and fulfill that purpose without first developing your character. First, you gotta develop your identity. Like a lot of young men out here, they want to know, what job was I made for? What was I placed here to do? What's my purpose? What's my calling? But before you even figure that out, you got to ask yourself, what kind of man was I made to become? What kind of woman was I made to become? What kind of person was I placed here to become? And have I did the right things needed to become that person? Have I done the right things needed to become the best version of myself? Like, before your platform comes and whatever it is you want that platform to be, you got to develop discipline. You got to be faithful. You got to develop strength. You got to develop integrity, consistency, good habits, routines. I can go on and on about the things that you need to make sure are right before God blesses you with this purpose that you want so bad. Before God blesses you with this calling, because I've talked about it before. If you are not prepared for what God has in store for you, you probably fumble it. You'll probably lose it. You'll probably make a wrong decision, make a mistake, and everything can be gone. Like, you have to be ready for this purpose. You have to be ready for this calling before it comes. You got to be prepared for it. Because I talk about this all the time. Like, God shapes the man before he reveals the mission. God is going to shape you before he reveals your calling. God is going to shape you and build you before he reveals your purpose. I talked about it before, bro. And if you haven't seen those videos, man, they're all up and down my channel. But you can't handle something that you're not prepared for. You can't take care of something that you're not ready for. So in order to receive your purpose, in order to receive your calling, you have to focus inward first. You have to build yourself. You have to focus on you. You have to pour into you. You have to grow in different ways. You have to heal in certain ways. You got to learn new things. You got to be prepared as possible for what God has in store for you. So that way, when it comes, when you figure out what that purpose is, when you figure out what your calling is, you don't fumble it. So you don't miss out on the opportunity. So you take full advantage of the opportunity when it might come. And aside from that, bro, like, you got to stop comparing your calling to everybody else's. You got to stop comparing your purpose to everybody else's. We've all heard it before. I've talked about it before. Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison kills clarity. Comparison is just bad, bro, all around. There's no reason in comparing your plan and your life to another person's life when everybody's life is different. Everybody's plan is different. Like, just be honest, bro. You probably weren't made to be like everybody else. Not probably. I know for a fact you weren't made to be like everybody else. You weren't. You weren't made to be the next Elon Musk. You weren't made to be the next LeBron James. You weren't made to be the next Mr. Beast. You were made to be yourself. You were made to create your own identity. You were made to be faithful with what's in front of you. You were made to create your own story, your own path. That's what you were made for. You weren't made to be in the likes of everybody else. You weren't made to be, like I said, the next LeBron, the next Mr. Beast, the next Elon Musk. You were made to be the next you, the only you. So when you're so caught up on what everybody else has going on, when you're so caught up on comparing yourself to everybody else, you're going to miss what is planned for you and what is in store for you by staring at somebody else's plan, by staring at somebody else's blessings. Like, yeah, applaud them for what they got. Be proud of them. But don't compare your life to theirs. Don't compare what you got to what they got, because everybody's plan is different, bro. Everybody's life is different. Everybody's calling is different. Everybody's purpose is different. Yeah, they might be under the same umbrella, but no two purposes are the same. Like, everybody was placed here for a reason, bro. So why compare your plan? Why compare your purpose and your calling to somebody else's when they will never be the same? You were placed here to be the best version of you, not the best version of somebody else. You were placed here to fulfill your purpose, not somebody else's. So you got to build exactly where you are, not where somebody else wants you to be. You got to build where you are. And in order to do this, you don't need a perfect plan. There's no perfect plan out there. You don't need massive resources. You don't need validation. You don't need anybody to be in your corner as long as you got yourself. You just got to start with what you got. I'm recording on a phone right now, a phone that I've had for years. I got a computer that I have for years. I don't got this special camera. I don't got this special equipment. I know my purpose. I know my calling, and I know where I want to be. I know the goals I have. I know what I want to achieve. So you got to start right where you are. You got to build right where you are with the things that you have, the body that you have been blessed with, the things that you have been blessed to have. I'm blessed to have this phone. I'm not talking down on it. I've amassed over 800 subscribers in the last year just off a phone. I'm blessed. I'm thankful for it. But you got to build up what you have, the skills that you might have, the skills that you might be able to build, the voice that you have now and that can be developed going on, the platform that you can start, like, build it right in here. Build it right now. There's no perfect plan needed. There's no blueprint to it. None of that. And as you continue to build right where you are, as you continue to grow right where you are, your purpose is going to grow right with you. Because your purpose grows as you grow. Your purpose reveals itself as you take action, as you start to build, as you start to move, as you start to take the steps necessary. That's how your purpose comes. That's how the calling reveals itself. Like I told y'all earlier, it doesn't just come from thinking. It doesn't just come from thin air. It's not magic. You got to take action to reveal this purpose. You got to move to reveal your calling. It's not just going to come out of nowhere. So I'm going to say it again, like, you weren't made to drift. You weren't made to be like everybody else. You weren't made to be the next whoever you look up to. You were made to build your own story. You were made to build right where you are. You were made to fulfill your own purpose and your own calling. So start moving. Take the first step. Take the risk. And that clarity that you want will follow, I promise you. Like, clarity comes from action. Clarity comes from moving and becoming who you want to be. Discovering what you were made for starts with being disciplined today. It starts with moving today. It starts with building today. Stop going out here and searching for purpose. Stop going out here searching for calling, and just be prepared when it reveals itself. Be ready for when that calling comes so you can handle it in the right way. So you can take care of it in the right way. That's how purpose comes. That's how calling comes. It's by taking action, by moving, and letting it reveal itself, and being prepared when it reveals itself. But that'll be all for this video, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this video, go hit that sub button. We're over at 900 subs. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I will see y'all in the next one.